There's no doubt about it. We fear rain. We wear our trench coats, our umbrellas, and all that, just to avoid getting hit by some lousy droplets of water. But what is it that makes us fear it? It's not something we learn, obviously. It's something deep, something that resonates within us. It's an unexplicable repulsion towards getting ourselves wet during a downpour. It's not a learnt fear. It's instinctive. Instinct. A small word for such a huge idea. I've lived in the countryside for 4 months now, and I'm back in the city. The neighbors used to tell me to nail the windows shut for about 2 or 3 weeks right after I started living there. But it was the beginning of summer, and with all the heat of the sun, I wasn't going to do something as stupid as that. Or something I thought was stupid. You know that smell? The one that rises just before the rain starts falling on you? In the city, people will always say it's the smell of watered earth, of the dirt getting wet, of bacteria and the plants receiving the rain. But the people have never been in the country. They haven't the faintest idea. You see, the cities, the huge metropolis, has not always been there. Mankind has been living in nature far more than has been living in the cities. Now that is why we have the instinct to fear the rain. Now, it's not the smell of earth, dirt, bacteria, plants. It's their smell. They come out in the rain, and they seek to mate. But they cannot hold their own, however, for they must retreat hastily as soon as the rain gives in and the water stops. I didn't nail my window shut, and as soon as the rain came, I started hearing it. Now, have you ever heard the tiny, almost unnoticeable hum or high pitch that TVs make when they're turned on? Have you ever felt a pressure on your chest when a low-pitched beat is heard? Those are the things that filled the air. That smell and those moans. Those high and low thumping moans. It's the smell they follow. I came home a bit wet, for the rain started on my way home, and I started hearing those noises sometime after I entered my house. Then the scratching on my door began. I went to check it through the window, and what I saw was revolting. What first looked like a giant worm was in fact some sort of humanoid thing, with its lower body being one long leg or tail. Its small, atrophied arms were strong enough to allow them to crawl, slither. And its face, it looked like it had been petrified. The only thing that looked like it was in use was its nose. It moved and twitched and spasmed, or whatever I can say, but all I know is that it was utterly terrifying. And as soon as I got close to the window, its face shot in my direction. The window was slightly open, and I now know it turned because it smelled me. And it moved towards the window. It slithered nearer, but it wasn't strong enough to pull itself inside, and I had enough time to close it. Soon enough, it turned, trying to sense the smell. My odor. And after a while, more came. From the hills came an entire legion of those fucking things. If I had to put an estimate, I'd say 400 at the least. Now, the thoughts of monkeys running up towards the high rocks and climbing trees came to my mind, and these are things we feared since the dawn of time. After a while, the macabre sight became something I could not stand. The noise was so much I couldn't sleep, and those things were, oh, ugly and disgusting, yet I could not bring myself to stop watching. Soon, I saw the old stray dog that always wandered around. It was a dirty dog. It must have been 15 years old. Too old to run and too old to live. They grabbed hold of his paws. 1, 2, 3, 5. The dog started howling and tried to bite one, then the other. Soon they overpowered the poor animal, and then it happened. From their chests came out a sting. 1, 2, 3, and 5. They all started stinging the poor beast. After that, they all turned to see towards the east, and they started slithering and crawling as fast as they could towards the plains. They dispersed as fast as they came. And the dog lay motionless. It seemed like parts of him breathed at intervals. Parts of his body pulsated. I'm sorry. Then, after that, suddenly the dog jumped to its fore and looked renewed. It started running like it was a young pup, and then it went running toward the plains and disappeared from my sight. And when morning broke, I took nails and wood planks and nailed my windows as tightly shut as I could. Not even one fucking hole was left. I even checked for other holes in the walls. The door. God. Dear God, I was starting to get so paranoid back then. And later on in the day, I left the house to get some groceries from the neighbors. And they had their own farm and had a lot of things for sale. But we're talking farms here. The open plains. Anyway, the distance I had to travel was about a mile or two to their house. When I got there, the black menacing clouds were near up in the sky. The neighbors were cold and quick. They gave me eggs, milk, some honey, and meat, but told me if I wanted to live, I should stay for the night. I remembered the last night and still hadn't made the connection of rain and monsters, so I declined the offer and hurried back while the farmer behind me yelled at me that I should stay if I valued my life. The rain started midway towards my house, and I was wet within the first 10 seconds of rain. It was a real downpour. I felt the smell of rain once more, and then I heard the sounds once again. The high-pitched noise, the low thumping. I wet my pants when I saw the first of those things crawling towards me, its nose like a black eye moving and staring at me. Now I dropped what I was carrying and ran for my life, even though they crawled. They were pretty damn fast. I was beginning to lose my breath when suddenly, once again, the image of monkeys climbing trees came to me. Then I remembered. It could not lift itself through my window. I realized I had a small hope of surviving this. But I had some hope. And while I was running, I turned to see left and right, and all I needed was something above the ground, something that they couldn't climb up to. The farmer's barn. I could still see his old wood ladder at the side of it. All I had to do was set it up, climb it, and then raise it so they could not follow. It was perfect, but heavier than I thought, and I was truly terrified of what would happen if I had failed in raising it. When I had put it in place, one of those putrid things, faster than those of its kind, tried to stab me with his sting. I could see it all like it was in slow motion. I grabbed the sting with both hands while the thing kept trying to nail me with it. And an egg came out of it. an egg emerged from its stinger. While I tried to keep it away from me, I pushed the thing to the side and the egg fell to the ground. It started to move and pulsate, but then stopped, and the exterior turned to stone. Now, as soon as that happened, I heard the clamor of those things, stronger and more penetrating than ever. I saw the one which tried to stab me was now writhing like it was in pain. I didn't hesitate for 1 minute. I felt a rage within me, so I started to kick it. I stomped the bastard's fucking head in. And after that, I ran up the ladder as fast as I could and raised it towards me, up until it was at the barn's roof. I don't know how I possibly managed to, but I fell asleep. The next morning, I was awoken by the farmer's wife yelling at me. She kept asking me what I was doing and why I was up there. I put the ladder down, and, well, climbed down, of course, and found a little stone ball and the skeleton of a dog with its skull bashed in. Why had I never seen these things until now? Why could it only happen in a place like this? And then at once, like a rush of every emotion humanly felt, it came to me. The egg, the rain, the smell of wet people. What about all those flashes in my mind, those memories of a time long gone? The people around here, the environment around here. It's all very much like the one that it was some thousands of years ago. And the only thing here that's changed are the houses. It's the only new thing. And those memories of the past came to me because this thing, it's a primal fear. We've been running from the rain and the water for so long. Even when we were unevolved chimps, we ran from it. And ran from the ground as well. I felt I needed to leave, and I left that place as quickly as I could. I spent one more night in those plains. I heard those screams and thumps, and this time it came from my house and my aroma alone. I'd killed one of their eggs, and I knew it was because of this. I mean, how else could one explain all the ruckus that happened when the infected dog dropped the egg? They beat on the door, slammed their bodies against it, kept moaning and scratching, hitting and weeping, smelling my fear. However, the rain stopped quickly. Thank God they ran away. And I'm typing this now. I'm typing this and narrating this now because I'm scared of them. I came back to the city, but maybe I should have let them take me. Instead, I brought this plague with me back to the city. They are on the other side of my door, and it's raining outside. It has been for a long time now, because even now, we don't know about them. Deep inside, we still fear them. Oh God. Oh God, this rain won't stop. It's been 3 days now. I'm starting to really lose it here. I claw at the door. I don't know how much more it will resist. Someone, please, if you find this, remember. Learn from me. Don't let them take you too. It's too late for me. It's far too late. The door can't hold much longer. Oh God. They're taking it down. They're taking it down. They smell my fear.